I would say since 86, 87, 87, maybe 86, 87, somewhere there. So been through different things. I've worked in the industry. I've been in academia, taught in different places. So anyway, so we'll talk about, I know from 2 to 3, you have been discussing AI. I have some slides on AI as well, because I wasn't sure how much you would know. So I'll go through them a little quickly. Let's start sharing first. Um, so give me a thumbs up if you guys can see my screen. Okay. So, okay. So I'm going to talk about overall what is AI. I know you guys have seen and talked about AI, and but it might be a little bit of overlap. But very quickly, I would like to go towards what is called object detection in live video. We'll do a small exercise and to show you how it's done. And it generates, so we won't be going into too much into the code, but I'll show you some code that it generates. It's already there, and you can make changes to it as you like. So we'll discuss all those kinds of things. Okay. So let me start. So demystifying AI. Before I go to my first slide, can somebody tell me what do you think AI is? Especially after the 1 hour you have been listening, how would, if somebody or a 5-year-old or 10-year-old asks you what is AI, what would you say is AI? Anyone? It's okay, there's no wrong answers. Come on, guys, nobody's willing to. Okay. All right. Well, I just want to say that AI is not, I just want to make sure that you be able to grasp this concept that AI is not a fancy search. It's a little bit more than that, right? So I'll quickly define AI a little bit and we'll go from there. So here's AI is the idea of machines mimicking human intelligence, right? Um, if you think about what is brain is basically a biological computer, and we try to mimic that using our programming and algorithms and all that. That's what AI is. It's not a fancy search. It, especially the machine learning part of it, it learns how to do things, and it turns just like humans learn. And we'll talk more about that. So machine learning, I just talked about machine learning. Machine learning is a subset of AI. All of AI is not machine learning. A subset of AI where machine learns from practice, from data, and that's where allows machines to learn from data without being explicit programming. So it's not that everything in AI is programmed. Everything is not algorithm. It's a data set. Based on data set, it learns. So it's the kind of data that you give that your AI model learns from it. So if your data is biased, your AI model will be biased. So right now on the internet, when we see the data we have, there's a lot of biased data. And that's what the issue is. That's what the concern is, that when you're using the data, which is biased, how is it that our AI model can be unbiased? It's not possible. So we have to somehow figure out what is unbiased data and use that to train our models, right? So then we have to be able to define what is biased and what is unbiased. Maybe for you, something is biased. For somebody else, something else is biased, right? So being able to define that is a challenge in and itself. Okay, so that's the machine learning aspect of it. Then, so the steps in machine learning process is, first we have to collect and prepare the data. So you collect it, if let's say it's in images, right? So how do you make sure that it's clear enough image, the magnification is good, light is good, this is that, whatever. All those things need to happen before you can use that data. So it's not just a matter of, oh, yeah, data is there and we're going to do this. You have to go through that before you train your model and use the trained model. Okay. So I just want to mention, I see Omar's hand is up, but I would just want to mention that your train once, like when you use ChatGPT or any of those, those models are already trained. And there are a lot of other models that are available that you can use, which are open source. You can also train your own models. Obviously, training your own models takes time and takes resources. Okay, so go ahead, Umar. Umar, you had a question or something? Your hand is up. Oh, I see two Umars. Okay, maybe something happens. Okay. All right. So next thing, so that's the steps in ML process. Okay. The next thing is, oops. So what is the artificial neural network that you keep on hearing about, neural networks and all that kind of stuff? So a neural network is basically a fundamental component in AI systems. So how do you make the neurons? It's inspired of human brains. Like in our Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala created our brain in a way where we have neurons which are connected to each other, and there's inputs and outputs going out in and out of those, and that's how our brains work, right? So it consists of interconnected nodes, or what you call neurons. So the AI models are pretty much based off of that, right? That's what they're trying to do in our AI models. And they are organized in layers, and we'll look at some of that. Okay. All right. Then the next thing is, so think of this as one neuron, right? A neuron is there, it takes some input and it gives some output. So what happens is that you keep on, once you give it, in machine learning, when you give an input, it generates an output basically, maybe randomly. Let's keep it simple, right? It just gives out some output. Think of it as like an infant or a toddler looking at a cat and says, dog. And you say, no, this is a cat. So now that's the learning part of it, right? It keeps on going through, and that's how they learn. Okay, this is a dog, not a cat. Well, maybe next time it sees a cat and says dog, and you say, no, this is a cat. So that's the learning. Same thing happens here. It generates an output. And when you say, no, this is this, then it goes back, adjusts its values to make sure that next time it gives a better output. That's the learning side of it. So here's the more thing like cat or dog, and it keeps on going. And there are multiple neurons instead of one neurons. There can be multiple neurons and then multiple layers of the neuron. And then it gives it, okay, I think this is a cat. Okay, so that each of that, I don't want to get into mathematical of how it does it, but it's basically a function of X. And even if you, like, just to give you very quickly, think of y is equal to mx plus b, which is your equation of slope. You can think of it that way. And m, instead of m, we use w, which are weights, and b is bias. So don't get confused with the too much math. Just wanted to give it quickly if somebody is interested. But this is a very small neural network, right? You can see each neuron and the first layer is connected to each neuron in the second layer. So that's why it's called a network, okay? Connected neurons, and that's hence the neural network part. Here's another way of, looking at it. Like let's say handwritten 7, we can easily tell this is 7. How can a computer program understand what is a 7 or not? How would you make computer understand? Well, you have to create an AI model that reads through that and figures it out, whether it's what is it, and that's different neurons. Then they are connected to the next layer and all these layers, and it figures out if it's one of these. And it figures out, okay, it's this one. That's the idea of neural networks. Okay. All right. So what are different applications of machine learning. By the way, there are different kinds of machine learning. I'm just talking about supervised machine learning at this point. There is unsupervised machine learning. There is reinforcement learning. We are just talking mostly about supervised machine, which means that we have some data and we, just like a toddler learns, that we can show the toddler a cat and it says, okay, this is a cat. And we teach the toddler that this is a cat. Similar thing. So there is a supervision involved. Okay. So there is like one is image recognition, object detection, natural language processing. So just to give you an idea, when you are going on 95 or 29, one of these things where you have easy pass and it can detect where your number plate is, how does it know? That's basically object detection and image recognition kind of things, right? And I'll show you the difference between the two. Natural language processing is when you say, even you say, hey Siri, or you say Alexa, or even when you type a prompt in ChatGPT, how does it know what did you say? How does it understand? So it's hard for computer to be able to understand. That's called natural language processing. And not just one side is understanding what you're saying and then being able to generate something that you can in English, right? That part of it is also natural language processing. So there's a whole lot in that. So I'm going to talk more about object detection, but I'll show you the difference between the two as well. So here's the object detection, right? So object detection means detecting objects in images. Identify the object, how many of them are there, where is each object. So both of these are examples of object detection. Right? It figures out, oh, there are two balls right here. It realizes that it doesn't say apple is a ball or an orange is a ball. Okay, to understand there's a cup here, same thing here, camera, this, that, whatever things are there, it can identify them. That's called object detection. It can identify, but it can also say where it is in the image, because you can have multiple cats in one image, right? You can have multiple dogs. You can have a cat and a dog or any combination. So that's called object detection. Image recognition is a little different, which is identify the object, but not where and how many. So that is more like if you want to identify actual people. Who is this? So right now we don't care which cat it is, as long as it's a cat, right? But if it's a human being and you want to create, let's say, an entry into a room, and if it's a certain person, they can enter. If not, cannot. Maybe that requires more image recognition, so they can recognize who this person is. Okay. So there is like a little different kind of challenges. So we will talk more about object detection and how to do this. Okay. Okay. So before I go on, any questions so far? No questions. Okay. Just want to make sure. Okay. I don't even have time, a lot of time actually. So just to give you a little idea before we get into the actual exercise, this is based on, so there are a lot of open source libraries even to do AI. You don't have to do it from scratch. There's a lot of math involved. You don't have to learn all the math to be able to program AI. You can do a math by using open source libraries. TensorFlow is available from Google, is available in Python programming. There is other such Keras, Scikit-learn. There are many of libraries available that help you create these neurons, create these layers, and get the output. And then there's some more detail to it, but it's not like creating from basic. You can also do it online, whether you're doing that Colab or something like that, where it's using the GPU from Colab and you can execute it. Obviously, you cannot make very huge, big uh, neural networks like right now. What are, for example, some of these ChatGPT or these are in which has multiple models, and each model is of billions of parameters, so like billions of neurons and things of that nature, right? So we cannot do that kind of, we don't have that kind of power. but we can make smaller programs, smaller things, but it can still give you, it can recognize cat and dog. It's not an issue. You can do other stuff. It's not that you cannot do, you can only do trivial tasks. No, you can do pretty good AI, uh, create pretty good AI models. Okay. So TensorFlow on Python is good to creating one. There's also, they have TensorFlow.js. And those of you who know, JS is for JavaScript. So that's the scripting language. And it's really good that it runs in the browser. So in your web page, you can use your JavaScript and that runs on the client side. So wherever you are accessing that website from, it runs on that side of the computer, right? So if I'm accessing a website and their website had a JavaScript, the JavaScript will download on my computer and will run on my side, not on the server side, right? So if you um, go to like CNN.com, they have the code on the CNN.com server, but when I access it, it first downloads from that server onto my computer, and then the web page runs on my computer. So if that web page have a JavaScript, the JavaScript code will be running on my computer. So TensorFlow.js is a library that JavaScript can use. You can use it in JavaScript. It's an open source library. Anybody can use it. That you don't need to buy it or pay for it or anything like that. And this is for machine learning, and it's in JavaScript. It's by Google. Okay, and that's what they're saying, that we can run anywhere JavaScript can. So any of the browser, it is not restricted to one particular browser. This is pretty much standard, so any browser should be able to run it. There might be slight issues, but mostly it should run fine. So which is everywhere, that equates to zero install on billions of devices. So that's pretty huge, right? You don't have to install anything. You just go to their web page and it code runs, okay, on your PC. Look, just to follow a link, it will instantly run on your device. That's the idea. Okay, so I'm going to show you some of the code that they have generate, but it's generated. We're not going to code today. So here's the part that it runs on the browsers. It can run on the server side as well, which is called Node.js, using Node.js. It can run on mobile native. It can be deep desktop native. It can also run on IoT devices. Okay. So if you're using a Raspberry Pi or Arduino or something, a Raspberry Pi, let's say you use, the idea is you can run TensorFlow.js on this, and let's say you put it on the door, and that our Raspberry Pi is connected to a lock, and it detects something. Based on that, it can generate whether to open the lock or not, right? Just as an example. You can also think of it as maybe some applications in the masjid, right? So you have it there and it's like a lot of people are coming. So if there are enough people, it should give some kind of signal outside that the masjid is full, more people should not come in. There can be a lot of different, and in this case, you don't have to pull the whole computer. It's a small Raspberry Pi, is pretty small, it's not big. And the machine learning and the AI model is running on the Raspberry Pi. And you just have to connect a camera with it and then send a signal wherever you want to send it. Right? So that's pretty neat. And you can do a different things, think through that, what kind of applications it can have. By the way, and I'll talk a little bit more about the model that we are going to use. But similar thing can be used, maybe put this Raspberry Pi in, I don't know, maybe in a prayer mat. And let's say if you can detect whether somebody's praying right, if they forgot something, and how would you do? Just as an example, you can think of different options to be done, something like that. Okay, so within that, there can be, as I said, we are not going to train a new model. Training takes time. You need data. You need to collect the data. You need to clean the data. The data should not be copyright stuff. it should be, you should be able to use it and all that. So we are not going to train the model. What we are doing, there are already so many trained models, especially like if you go to huggingface.com, you can find tons of already prepared models, and they're open source. You can use them even online, and you can download them and run it locally on your computer. They're already trained. Okay, so this is where it becomes really powerful stuff. Your AI, you should all be using AI. Okay, if you're not, and same thing with, even if you're doing chat GPT, please do not stick with just asking one question. Start to learn how to prompt chat GPT. Be in a place where you're having a continued conversation with ChatGPT. And by the way, ChatGPT is not the only LLM, right? There are many others, many others. Uh, Especially, so there are many, I mean, I don't want to go into that, but there are many other tools for AI. There are many other LLMs which can be used. LLM is large language model. ChatGPT is one of them. So coming back to the object detection part of it, what our objective is to be able to have something that can detect what is in front of the camera. Now, obviously, we cannot, if we train a camera which learns everything, that will be a huge model, right? So it will be really time consuming to train that kind of model. Okay. At the same time, it'll be maybe it'll take a lot of effort to be able to run that. So there has to be some limit, right? Because there cannot be infinitely large model. So in this case, what will be using is what is called the COCO SSD model. Again, this is the open source model. It uses, but COCO stands for Common Object in Context. That's what COCO is. That's the data set that we are using in this model. It used in this model, and the single shot multi-box detection. And that's the SSD part of it. That's the architecture they use. So that's why it's called COCO SSD. Don't worry about the technical terms. If you it's don't be confused with that. It's just a name. COCO SSD model is going to be used. We are not going to write any of it. It's already trained. Um, it's object detection, segmentation, and captioning open source model, right? It's by Microsoft. It can detect 80 common objects um, and can be trained for more. We're not going to train for more, but if you want, you can train for more. So I'll give you a start of what it can do, and hopefully you can take it from there. And depending on your hackathon project, you can decide whether you want to use this part of it. So here, this is an example again. It is detecting multiple things here. And say it's a dog, it's a person, it's a bed. And this percentage shows you how sure the model is. So it can, for example, it can be confused whether it's a dog or a cat, right? So but saying it's 98% sure this is a dog. Okay, and I don't want to get into a lot more detail, but there is a reason why it's not always 100%. Okay, I'm sure we have seen. If you think about it, you may have seen some dogs that might look like a cat or cat that looks like a dog. And it's not always going to be from the specific front side, right? It's not like in this case, you're not even seeing the face, that much side of the face. So how would a computer know from looking at the side of the dog that it's still a dog? And even if it sees from the front, it still knows it's a dog, just like we do. So that's what the machine learning aspect is. So here, with the model that we are using, COCO SSD model using TensorFlow.js, it's going to detect all these objects, and that's what it does. Okay, and this is the web address, and we do this. I'm going to put this link in the chat. Okay, so if we go to, let me paste it here. Can you see my screen? Give me a thumbs up if you can. The other screen, not this presentation. I'm now on a Google Chrome screen, right? So this is the, if you can, like I see the thumbs up, so you can see it. It says multiple object detection using pre-trained model in TensorFlow.js. This is a glitch.me website, which has TensorFlow.js object detection model here. It shows you how to use it. So after a while, it will take some time to load, but once it loads, you have the demo classifying images, right? So this is, you can, if I click now, click on the image below and try, recognize that what is in the image using the power of machine learning. Notice how in this demo, we not only know if the object is in the image, but also its position in the image. So you can see that the dog, the whole face is not there, but it should still be able to detect this is a dog. Same thing with this, cup with some treats and a cup of tea and whatnot, a pen. So we'll see what it detects out of this, right? So if you click on it here, it detected that there's a dog with 97% confidence. It detected there's a bowl, 83% confidence, and a cup with 71% confidence. Okay. Same thing here. If we click on this one, it detects there are two people. Okay. And then it also detects that there's a dog. This is actually the Coco SSD model that's doing this. That's not, I'm not saying that only this images can work on it. We can do this on live video. Okay. So let me turn off my camera and see if I can make this work. It may not work for me, but because I have my camera engaged with you guys on the Zoom call. But let me try. If I do enable webcam, let's see. Yeah, I don't think it's working for me at this point because of the Zoom. But if you guys do it on your computer, it should show your actual camera turning on, and then you can it can detect different objects in it. Okay. I don't know how else I can make it work. Let me try loading again because the camera is engaged with the Zoom call. That's the issue. And I'm trying to disable my camera from this. Okay, allowing me. Yeah. Okay, okay, that's better. So you see that it's, tell me if you can see that it's showing up in the web page. Okay. So it can see, and if I do, you see that it comes up that it detects there's some chair behind me, right? I can also do some old phone and see if it's, yeah, see it recognizes the phone. And it's like when I move it, it recognizes both of us together. Yeah, try. Okay, so this tells me there's a cell phone and there is person there. And it can, if you have multiple people here, it can detect that. Okay. It can also do this. Yeah. So it detects the clock, detects the phone, So there are different things it can detect what it is. Okay. Um, you can obviously just it's so you can look at this. So we'll go and look at the code of how what it's doing, what kind of code it is. Not too big of a code, and you can take a copy of it. It's open source, so you can make a copy of it, make changes to it. You can generate various aspects of it as you like, various versions of it. So let's do, okay, click on the C readme.md or the project page for more information. Let's click on that. Okay, so here again, it's showing you this similar kind of thing. Here, what you can do resource. By the way, I haven't logged in or I haven't signed. I have a sign up, but I haven't logged in. So this is without it. If I don't log in and don't sign up, I don't create an account, then what's going to happen? It's going to delete my temporary things. So I would suggest that if you want to use this, make sure you create your own account so that you have a separate um, code and you can always go back. It's free account. There's no charges for it. You don't have to pay anything. It's all free. It's open source. There's no piracy involved, nothing. Okay. So once you have this, what you can do is you can say remix your own. You can click on remix your own and it's loading project. So here it shows you a lot of different things. It's giving you a lot of this is difficulty easy. There are other, if you go through this, you'll find that there are other projects like this. You can even create it. It can even recognize your face mesh, right? So anybody's face mesh. So it recognizes where are the nose, where's the nose, where is ears, eyes, everything. So there are different aspects to it. There's even the audio side of it. So we are just concentrating on object detection on a live video, but there are a lot of these and this code is already there, right? So you can always remix your own in this case, and it gives you what can this demo do, recognize 90 common objects. What are those objects? If you click here, let me just go there. And this is a whole code of the thing. You don't have to worry about this. And this is already there. This is like even the actual Coco SSD dataset you can watch, look at it, but don't get confused by it. You don't need to do anything to it to make it work. It's already working. We already saw it, right? And it gives you a lot of. So these are the four, basically uh, the license.md, readme.md, index.html. So the code is between HTML, JavaScript, and CSS. Right? CSS is cascading style sheet. You can give it different styles for your web page. That's the idea. But all this code is already there. Okay. So let's see if I can do preview. So you see that it's saying create account. I haven't created account. You guys, I prefer, I would recommend that you should create your own accounts. That would make it easier for you. So I can do open pane or preview in a new window. Let me do open preview pane so that it's in the same window. You can create a separate window as well. So here it's showing you that, and I can even do enable webcam in this one. Yes. So while it's coming up, hopefully it takes some time because it's a library, so it takes a while to, it takes a little bit of time to load that library, okay? I hope this comes up in here as well, but even if it doesn't, we have seen it work. Okay, it's asking. Okay. It will ask you if you want to allow the camera, right? Once you allow the camera, then it shows up, okay? So that is working. Now, if you want to see the code, so let's click on index, right? So that's the index file. You can see that it shows all this. And you can say it says multiple object detection using pre-trained model in TensorFlow. That is right there. Okay. You can change any of it. Okay. I can say my, okay. And if I do this, let's see, not this one. I have these some AI things going on. So I wanted to oops, waking up. Oh, I know the difference. This is this one. Sorry, the title. That's the title part of it. So I should put my hack in this one right here. That's why it's not showing. There you go. So you can put anything and you can change the color, difficulty, whatever you want to do. Um, the style sheet is where you change the colors and stuff, right? So please wait. Whatever information you want to send, you can put it here. And that will show up over there. You can remove any of it, go slow, make a copy, and make sure you're doing it accordingly. You can also go to, let's say, stylesheet.css. So here's the style. It's showing how, what kind of things it will show. This is the color. You can put a color, different colors. So I don't know colors, but I can, well, let's make a mistake. Let's try. If I just say blue, so here it's blue. My hack became blue. Right? So you can do things of that. If you want to change some colors to something else, you can do all that. Okay. Let's look at JavaScript. So that's your JavaScript code. Again, the code is all there. It's getting some elements from your document, and it's working on that. That's the, and if you go down, there's some for loop. There's, I'm not going to go through the whole code, but I hope this gives you enough detail. So you can even change the kind of, like you saw the boxes it's making, orange color and all that. You can even change that. So this orange, if you don't like this orange, or you want to make, I don't know, it makes the borders a little different or anything like that, you can do all of that. Okay. Any questions on this? So this is not big of a code. I think it's like a couple of pages, maybe JavaScript. And it's just loading a library and creating a loop so that it's looking at the live feed. And based on that feed, it's creating all these boxes around the objects. It figures out. So it figures out an object. This is the object, creates a box around it, and names it, right? So you can change any of these parts if you look through the code and you say, like here it says, wait for the model to load, clicking, and all of that. And it says stop with everything it's calculating here. What is the left? What is the prediction? You're going to have to go a little bit deeper to understanding what it is doing. But the actual code is all there. Okay. Okay. So this is what I have. Other than README should not be anything. It's just basic, simple detail about this. You can change anything in here. License.empty is just shows that it's an open source thing, Apache license. So it shows the details of the license. So I think it's for redistribution and everything. There are some restriction. But for your own practice, yes, obviously you can use it. No issues there. So it's technically you have just these three files. That's it. And this style.css is not code. It's just how you want to, what colors, what kind of things you like, whatever you want to do. You can give different kinds of these or like these colors, name, numbers, um, all of that you can change here. Like it's actually video view, right? Video view, you can change different colors here. Okay. Um, Same thing. So an index.html should be pretty simple. You give the text here, but your colors are from style.css. This is the JavaScript code. Any questions on this? Did it make sense? Does it help? What do you guys think? So as I was giving you some ideas about how you can use it, um, like let's say you can put it in a parking lot, masjid parking lot, that, hey, this lane, this, cars are coming in and it can detect that, okay, this is full, more cars are not needed in this, or it can say, okay, I have this many spaces left, or things of that nature. Um, you can detect some other things, and maybe put something on the door. Again, I said this already recognizes like 70 objects, but you can always train it to detect something specific, right? If you want to do, I don't know, uh, maybe the Quran should be recognized separately than any other book. Right? So if you want to do that, you can train it. That obviously requires a little bit more programming. It's not that hard. It just requires a little bit more effort into it. Okay, so and if you start using it, there's a lot of you can go to TensorFlow.js. I have a lot of other things as well, but yeah, if you go to TensorFlow.org/JS, by the way, you can also without JS, you can, if you want to go learn Python side of it, you can do that as well. Um, but the JavaScript side of it, you can have go to TensorFlow.js and put this as well in the chat so that you guys can this. And here you can see tutorials, see models, see demos. They have many demos. So how it works, run existing models, retrain existing models, develop ML with JavaScript. You can do all those things. Some here you can, for example, they're showing transport yourself to a tropical beach, outer space, elsewhere with the power of WebML. So it can detect your face, but show somebody else, right? So you can do all that. And again, the code is already there. You just need to uh, take that code, make changes, and make your specific application of whatever you want to do. Okay. Um, so here, for example, web controller, right? Play Pac-Man using images trained in your browser. So this would be interesting where it's controlling based on your movement, I believe. That's what it does, or things of that nature. Right? So you can do a lot of things. So if we go to, let's see if I can show you another demo. There's a lot more demos here. And you can please go through that. Let's see if I can show you this one, maybe. So this might be a little different. This seems to be in, yeah, it's like Flutter forward. It's in Flutter, still TensorFlow.js, and you can get started. And I don't want to go into that. That's going to take a little bit of time, but it's pretty simple. It's not that much involved. You can also go into, say, see demos. And explore them. Is it the same one or different? Yeah, it's the same. So you can see how many different lip sync by YouTube or emojis, okay, different things, move mirror, Node.js. There's a lot more involved things that are there as well. Teachable machine is another good one, where you can teach the machine and it generates the code and you can download the code. So I can show you that. Teachable machine with google.com. Here's another one. Okay. So in this one, it basically, you can say get started and you can, it can detect, you can use it to say what is teachable machine. It just so it can I was sharing. What you do is you do class one, this is this, class two is this. You gather different data samples, video using video. So in this one, it will show you, let me show you this small video. I have to share it again. Sure, I am sharing my sound. Not sharing. Okay, so if I do this,
People are training computers and creating machine learning models to explore all kinds of new ideas. New ways to interact.
Yes.
To understand the world. To play. And experiment. But machine learning is pretty intimidating to get into. So we've been wondering, what if it wasn't? With Teachable Machine, we set out to make it easier for anyone to create machine learning models without needing to write any machine learning code. When it first launched in 2017, it allowed everyone to get a feeling for what machine learning is all about. But now, Teachable Machine puts the power of machine learning in your hands, allowing you to save your models and use them in your own projects.
So let's say you want to build a model to recognize you versus your dog. You just open up the site, record samples of you, and samples of your dog. Click Train, and you instantly have your own machine learning model, which you can use in your sites, apps, and more. You can upload your model to host it online, or download it to work entirely on device.
With Teachable Machine, you can create custom models for all sorts of things. Using images, audio, or even poses. Personalized machine learning models for the things that matter to you. And folks have already been trying it out, using Teachable Machine in their own experiments, solving problems in their communities, or even just at home. Start creating and see where your ideas take you at g.co/teachable machine.
okay. Interesting. Now it's not showing my video, but I share the video. Because of I was sharing it online, so it's not going to share now. But that's what I had, and I hope this was helpful. You saw the video. They're using like a sorter, which can detect whether it's a penny or this, and then by looking with the camera. Same thing if dog is coming from if you put this, maybe you put it in Raspberry Pi, and it has a camera which is looking on the inside of the house, and if it sees a dog coming, maybe it can open a doggy door, so the dog can go out. Things of that nature. So hopefully that gives you some ideas for your hackathon competition. Yeah, that's all I have. Let me know if anybody have any questions. Okay, so if there are no questions, I would like to thank you all, Jazakallah khair, and wish you best of luck, inshallah, in your competition, and hope you guys create great stuff. But and my advice is make sure you guys learn more and more AI. It's very important. It's going to change a lot of things. We have to, as the brother was talking about, how to use it responsibly. That's very important. Ethical, responsible AI and trustworthy AI, trustworthy especially. Like imagine if you're a firefighter, can you depend on AI model with your life, on that AI companion that you have? So it has to be trustworthy, it has to be responsible and ethical. Okay, but not knowing AI is not an option. Okay. Okay, Brother Mustafiz, that's all I have. Jazakallah khair for the opportunity. While we're waiting for Mustafiz for any last minute things, I just want to say I'm on LinkedIn. So if you guys want to connect, you're more than welcome to connect. Any advice from me, we are more than happy to advise you. Again, my name is Dr. Najam Hassan. I'm working at Capital Technology University. I'm also an adjunct at UMBC. If you just type my name, I think you should be able to find me easily. Brother Mustafiz, are you there?
Oh, Assalamu alaikum. Yeah, I'm a little bit out. Jazakallah khair. So, inshallah, Jazakallah khair, mashallah, this is very, impactful and good project for the students to have, inshallah. So, would you be available if they have questions, inshallah?
Yeah, sure, inshallah. Send me, I can put my email actually. And any questions or anything, I'll be happy to.
That would be great. And I shared all those, okay, inshallah. I shared your, those website, the tensor.flow, I guess. Is that what it is?
TensorFlow.org/JS,
right.
Yeah.
So those will be very resourceful for them. But Jazakallah khaira, please keep in touch, inshallah. We really would like to see you contributing, and we work with you, inshallah, to mentor the students.
Yeah, inshallah, anytime. Unfortunately, I'm out of town this week. I would have loved to be there this weekend, but inshallah, next time I will try harder and to be there.
Inshallah. No, but as Dr. Farid mentioned that we have some of the students might continue as a research project, and that is the time we may need some help from you, inshallah.
Great. That would be great. Yeah, inshallah.
Jazakallah khaira.
Wa iyyakum. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Jazakallah khaira. Assalamu alaikum.